Hi peeps, we're going to do this quick. Alright, so we're going to be going over functions today, and hopefully keep this as simple as we can and go fast. Okay, so functions. Um, let's see, how do we best describe functions? Okay, so functions are like snippets of code that we can put inside of these scope areas, and we can run that code in other places, and we can just call to that name of that function and run that name that will run that code that's in that place. So, for instance, let's just put these brackets to indicate this is where we had this. Let's say that in console, hello world. So that we're going to tell the world that we like pie. I like pie. Okay, and then also you need to tell them that you like cake. But the cake was a lie. Whoops. Sad face. Okay, so we have this here, and we have this that if it was just in one place, that'd be fine. But what if we have this in multiple parts of our code that we need to tell the world that we like cake and we like pie? Or I guess I got that backwards. We like pie and we like cake, but the cake was a lie. We would have to copy our code here and go to these different parts of the code and put them there. But what happens if we decide down the line that it's not enough that the world knows? We got to get the universe to know. So, hello universe. Boom. Now the universe knows that we like pie and we like cake, but the cake was a lie. But then we got to change all these other ones. So, got to change this one. We got to change this one. And we got to change this one. And that was simple-ish because we don't have all the other code in the way, but we'd also have to account for there could be thousands of lines of code that we'd have to shift through and find all the different locations. So rather than do all of that mess, we could just put this into a snippet, code of function that we could just access from one call, and then we can change it one place. And also, another problem we could run into is what happens if in one part of our code, whoops, we forgot to put, copy this new code that we had, and it says hello world here. Well, in one part of our code, only the world would know that you like pie and you like cake, but the cake was a lie. The universe wouldn't know. I mean, that could cause World War VI. So obviously, we got to do something about that. So what we're going to do here is instead of having this as a, just a, code that we copy and paste, we'll put it inside a function. We can do that simply typing function, which is what we'll use to tell the game engine code stuff that we want to make this a function with a name. So we'll call this truth. And we're going to put these parentheses after this. You need this left parenthesis and the right parenthesis in that order. This means that this is a function, and later on we can do stuff with that, which I'll show. But for now, we can go ahead and do truth and a semicolon here at the end. This semicolon that you've seen me use, it basically it means it's the end of that statement line. I don't remember if vscripts requires it, but I have always done it in programming language, so I always do. So we're going to go ahead and save this, and we'll go ahead and go into here, and as you can see, hello universe, I like pie, I like cake, but the cake was a lie. Sad face. Okay, so you can see that we made this, but we didn't actually run this code. And then we got down to here, and this statement is saying that we want to call truth. All right. So let's say that we need to do something more advanced with this. What if we want to call in, something else? Like instead of saying hello universe, what if we wanted to, for instance, define our own something? So hello. What are we gonna put? Um, let's just do world. I can't think of anything right now. So we could have this as argument 0, and we'll go over arguments just a second here. So in our functions, some people call them parameters and some people call them arguments. They're basically the same thing for this context. So argument 0 would be our first variable here. So I'm going to call this, what do we call this? We'll just call it name. Okay, so that means we're creating a new variable here that is going to be accessed only inside of this scope region here called name. And so what I could do with that is I could take this string and I could concat it, which is essentially like going to append two strings together, like merge them together like this. So it's going to take this here, this double quote hello and then a space, and it's going to take this as a string and it's going to plus, which is going to append it to name, which is another string down here. So this is going to say hello world, I like pie, I like cake, but the cake was a lie. So we'll go ahead and run that really quick. Okay, hello world, I like pie, I like cake, but the cake was a lie. Now you can see that it took, it took our string that we had and it passed it in as argument 0, which we're calling name. All right. Well, what if we want okay, we're gonna pass in another thing we like. How about favorite thing? And I'm actually using camel case here. Camel case for variable names, it means the first is lowercase and then the next one is uppercase and then lowercase again until you get to the next. I did not really like camel case when I first started programming. I used to use underscores, but I have since realized that underscores make it longer, so it takes up more space, so it's harder to see everything on your screen, and it also makes the file size slightly bigger. So that's one thing which I've changed. So I now use this camel case, which a lot of people use. Excuse me. Now we're going to run this really quick because I want to show you this error. Okay, so now we have an error has occurred. Wrong number of parameters. Now remember I said parameters and arguments essentially the same thing. So go back into here. And the reason that we're getting this is because we have argument 0 here and argument 1 here, but we only have argument 0 here. So in order for this to work, we need to add favorite thing. So what is our favorite thing? Our favorite thing is pizza. There you go, pizza. All right, so now let's go ahead and make another one here. Print line I like, and then we'll put favorite thing. Actually, no, let's put this up here instead. Put this right here. There we go. All right, save. And as you can see, hello world, I like pie, I like pizza, I like cake, but the cake was a lie. All right, so now you can see that we've passed in these two parameters or arguments into our function. That's another use of functions that we can add different values, and we can make, for instance, function add. So add num for like add numbers. So I could just do num1, num2, and then this is going to be something new here that I'm going to show you, which is the return. Now, the return is used in pretty much every programming language, except a select few, and we can use this to return a value. So what is this doing here? If I take this really quick and I put this down here, oh, by the way, the number is, and I could just do this. You can see this might get a little bit confusing because you've got multiple parentheses. You got to make sure that you don't have too many, you don't have too little. You got to have exactly the right amount in exactly the right place. So this is our function. I'm just going to take 5 and 6. Okay, so this should say, oh, by the way, the number is 11, if we did this right. So go ahead and, whoops. Now my finger's really locking up. Okay, hello world, I like pie, I like pizza, I like cake, but the cake was a lie. Oh, by the way, the number is 11. So what exactly is happening here? Return, you can think of it kind of like a variable. So like if we had a variable, this doesn't work by the way, but if it was a variable called return, and we did num1 is equal, or excuse me, plus num2. So this is essentially what this would look like if this was a variable. So you can think of return as being a variable, and we're just not using an equal sign. So we're taking num1 plus num2. So the plus sign is used to add a numerical value together, or concat string sort of deal. So in this case, they're numerical values. So we had 5 and we had 6. So we're taking 5 plus 6 is equal to 11. We're taking the value 11. Return is equal to 11. And that's going to be passed out of here. That will end up as here. So instead of this saying add num 5, 6 for our different parameters that are separated by this little comma, it would say this. So it's essentially this. So, oh, by the way, the number is 11. So that's another use for functions. We also can, here it is. We also use this different type that I showed. This is essentially the same thing, but this also allows us a different way to pass it in. So you remember this meant like public. Well, essentially, this means that we could take, let's see, let's just do add num, whoops, what am I doing? Function, num1, num2. This is essentially the same, but it means that this is now a variable type that we can actually use, and we can actually use it if we wanted to call that function. That's more of an advanced thing, so we won't really be going over that. But you can see that we could do return num1 plus num2. And I will just go ahead and put this as old. So it will run this one here instead of that one for this code up here. So we'll go ahead and save this. And you will see that it will run the code, and it should say exactly the same thing. Oh, by the way, the number is 11. So that is the very basics of functions and what we can use them for. As you can see, very useful. Lots of different ways that they can be used, and allows us to put our code in one place and just call it in our code whenever we need it. And as you can see, we're easily able to take a function and call it instead of another function. So this add num that we have, right here. This is another function that we're calling inside of this function here. And then once this is done inside here, it'll come back to here, print its value, and we we have our basics of functions. All right, peeps, we're going to go ahead and end it here, and we'll go over, I don't know what we're going over next, but we'll find something.